Right, hello lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under. And I apologise, I sincerely apologise for not having a video out yesterday. I don't want to make many excuses, so I am sorry. The win was a great win for Celtic. It was professional, it was calm, except for that one Kane moment, and it was sophisticated. We got the 3 points. The two new boys, Giacomakis and Juranovic, both bagged a goal. Their first and second goal for Celtic respectively. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about transfer news, which is always so much fun. Before we get into the video though, please consider subscribing. If you're new to the channel and you want up-to-date, reliable Celtic content, then look no further than Boys Down Under. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, as the title reads, Celtic are in contention for 2 players. Celtic are in contention to sign 2 players who could potentially make a move to Paradise in January. And we'll begin with the player that's got everyone talking, and that is, of course, Daizen Maeda. Now, Maeda is recently turned 24 years old and is a striker, winger, forward playing for Yokohama F. Marinos in the J-League, which, as we all know, is Ange Postecoglou's former club. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I've got to say, I was excited about Kyogo's arrival to Celtic. When Vissel Kobe announced it like a week before Celtic did, I was extremely excited after watching his highlights. I thought this player could be an absolute star for Celtic. It's very easy to say after he's become a star, but believe me on this one. Now, yes, it does. Now, this guy, if Celtic can sign Maeda, it will put me into hysterics. And it does sound like it sounds like a lot of an over-exaggeration, but trust me, guys, when I say this guy is a class footballer, and he knows exactly how to play proper Ange ball, because Postecoglou was the one who brought him to Yokohama on loan in 2020, and then signed him on a permanent deal earlier this year. And normally with players, the stats don't reflect how good they are. You've got a lot of players who, in football, they don't score a lot of goals, they don't get a lot of assists, but what they do for their team makes them one of the best in the world. But with Daizen Maeda, the stats say everything you need to know. He is currently the top goal scorer in the J-League, 17 goals in 31 games for Yokohama this season. He currently holds 8 spots in the top 10 for most sprints in a game. And I'm going to put this graphic on screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Thank you for the J-League for posting this. And as you can see, the only other player that's really in contention with him, that's on a level of him with terms of sprints per game, is Celtic's own Kyogo. It's that highlights such a key part of Maeda's game and what makes him such a good player, his attitude. He recently got interviewed regarding the speculation around Celtic, and he went on to say, and I quote, "I run for the team and do it crazy. If you lose that, you're done. I'm not a good player, so I have to work hard all the time to compete with a good player." Maeda puts his body on the line every single time he plays for the jersey. He leaves everything on the pitch, and even if a player isn't the best, you can never fault them for giving their all. And despite his claims that he is not a good player, don't believe him, guys, because he's absolutely talking shit. Because at 24 years old, he is one of the best talents in the J-League at the moment. And a move to Celtic could honestly take his footballing quality to a whole nother level for Celtic. And he could become one of the most damaging players in the league, if not the most damaging player. Obviously, he's got strong competition with Jota and Kyogo, but you know what I mean. And a lot of you may be thinking to yourself, how on earth will Ange Postecoglou be able to fit Kyogo and Daizen Maeda in the same team, but then also have to compensate for giving minutes to Georgios Giacomakis? And here's what the best part of the deal is, that despite being very good at striker, Maeda is also extremely good at wing. And he's a lot more capable than Kyogo at the wing, and because we all know with Kyogo, he's never damaging on the wing. He can be extremely nullified on the wing. But as for Maeda, he has a wide range of skills in his arsenal and has a great ability of beating defenders one-on-one. If you get one-on-one with Daizen Maeda, you need to pray, because 9 times out of 10, he's going to get past you. And he's also lightning quick. So, a lot. Like if you give him a through ball, no, you're not catching him. Okay, no defender is catching Days and Maida on a through ball, and in a league where the football is so physical in Scotland, pace is very rare, and if your player has pace, not much can stop him except for being fouled. And I do feel if he comes to the league like Kyogo, he's going to be fouled a lot, but he's also going to get past his players a lot because no one is catching him. And I'm all for this deal. I think the light I'm talking about him in, it just proves to you guys how great this deal would be for Celtic. Like, he is a proven talent in not only Ange Ball, but in football in general. And Celtic, they won't even have to break the bank for him. I'd say at a very maximum, £5 million for him at a very maximum, because he's £1 million at transfer market. He's 24 years old. He's got the best football ahead of him. Like, this deal is a no-brainer for Celtic. And honestly, if, like I said earlier, if Celtic get this deal done, I would go into absolute hysterics. Because, literally, imagine a front three of Jota, Kyogo, and Days and Maida. Now, obviously, you got Abada as well, but someone who's just got a bit more experience of Maida and a bit more qualities finishing and going forward. It's just baffling how good this Celtic team could become just with the one addition of Days and Maida. And if this hasn't convinced you guys that he's a great footballer, about how much I'm talking about him and the positive light I'm talking about him in, I don't know what will, because this guy is a class footballer. And if, I can't say much more about it. Celtic, get your bloody checkbook open. Get Days and Maida reunited with Ange Postecoglou, because he will help us win the league. He will become another fan favourite just like Kyogo, without a doubt, 110%. He's a humble guy, but with loads of talent, and he plays for his jersey, and whatever jersey that is, he will give 100%. So that's my take on Days and Maida. Hopefully you guys are convinced, but we've got another player to talk about. And I know it's weird, all that talk about Maida, and we still have another Donny to talk about. And, well, this guy, he's been on Celtic's books for a while. And according to The Sun, yes, I know, The Sun, Celtic have actually sent their first team or head scout down south to have a look at him. And it's none other than Derby County's left-back, Lee Buchanan. Now, Buchanan is highly rated. He plays for England at under-21 level, and he's had his market value astronomically rise since his promotion to the first team in 2019. Now, Nottingham tried to make a play for Lee Buchanan in the August transfer window, but with his contract, that got rejected. Wayne Rooney said, no one's taking our left back. But the reality is his contract is ending at season's end. And, well, if Derby want to make profit off him, they're going to have to sell him in January for a cut price fee. So a bit of bad business from Mr. Rooney there. But nonetheless, they're going to have to do something here if they want to make something out of him. And look, it's a no-risk deal for Celtic. I think from my perspective, and I think from the perspective in the club, it's a no-risk deal, which means that regardless if he turns out not even to get a start for Celtic, there's no consequences of it. It's a deal which, if he turns out to be a great signing, it's amazing. But if he turns out to be a bad signing, it's a bit of a oh no. Anyways, it's similar to the Liam Shaw deal. That's something we can compare it to. Liam Shaw, we signed on a pre-contract agreement for free in a position that Celtic have a lot of abundance in, and well, he hasn't really got much game time. And Lee Buchanan is playing in a position, left back, where Celtic really do have a lot of abundance. Because if you look at it, we've got Greg Taylor, Bolly Bolingoli, young Adam Montgomery, and Liam Scales, all as recognised left backs at the club. Then you've also got Josip Juranovic, who has played more times at left back for Celtic than he has at his natural right back position. So 5 players who have the capability of playing left back for Celtic. Why do we need another one? And if he signed for free on a pre-contract agreement, you question what that means, not only for Buchanan in terms of game time, but what it means for other players at the club. Does it spell the exit of Bolly Bolingoli? Does that mean that that last game against Motherwell, which I thought he played really well in, was actually going to be one of his last for Celtic. Doesn't mean that Liam Scales is going to be forced out on loan next season or the end of this season. There's a lot of questions that will arise from this deal. And honestly, Celtic, I don't think Lee Buchanan's the answer unless Celtic were convinced and Ange Postecoglou was convinced that he could walk into the starting team and really positively impact Celtic more so than Bolingoli would, Montgomery would, Juranovic at right back would, even Greg Taylor to a certain extent. I don't see why this deal would happen. Like I said earlier, though, it is a no-risk deal, so that is the plus side to it. But in my eyes, honestly, I don't see why Celtic are going for another left back. I think the players we've got in that position right now are certainly good enough. I don't see why we're not going for a third right back. It's a bit... I probably shouldn't bring this up because I'd want to go on a tangent about a third right back for Celtic, but I'll save that for maybe tomorrow's video, maybe not, I don't know, but that's another story completely. Regardless, at the end of the day, from Celtic's standpoint, it's a no-risk deal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's a no-no anyways, because I don't think we need a left-back, and I think signing another one could easily hinder the development of players like Liam Scales and like young Adam Montgomery into turning into real superstars for Celtic. But what it means for Celtic, we'll have to wait and see, because like I said earlier, this could be complete bollocks, and the Sun could have just reported this for shits and gigs because there was a slow news day. But in terms of realism, I see it much less realistic than the Days and Maida transfer. But yeah, no, it's still a possibility because honestly, in football, everything's possible. We can't rule out anything. But that is all from me. So those were the two players we covered, and you guys should have your say in the comments. Say in the comments below, who do you want to see both players at Celtic? Do you want to see neither player at Celtic? One or the other? Like I said earlier, for me personally, I will go into absolute limbo if Celtic sign Days and Maida. I can't, if Celtic sign him, mental. Lee Buchanan, if Celtic sign him, good depth signing, I guess, but leave your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this channel to your friends, I don't know what else, but until next time, hail, hail.